All right, we're gonna play and then just tell us to do this. Oh wait, we're here.
Oh, well. All right, welcome to Center for Spiritual Living Leesburg. I'm Tamara, and I just want to say welcome. We're so glad that you're here, either on Zoom or through Facebook. Our theme for this year, 2020, is spiritual vision, and our theme for the month of April is new beginnings. There was quite an interesting discussion this morning. We were trying to figure out what day it is. It is April 26th, we have decided. And today's speaker will be Charlene, and she will be filling us in on a very interesting title for today, Fire in the Belly. So stay tuned. I know I want to hear more about that. Right now, just take a deep breath and join us as we open our sacred space together, settling our intentions for our service and bringing our awareness of our unity and oneness with the represented, which is represented with this one lit candle. Let us now close our eyes as we bless this service and our wonderful time together. Together, we recognize the divine presence that moves through all things. And we know that this presence of love expresses as each of us in unique and beautiful ways. I know that we are blessed in this time together, and that we are each renewed in our remembrance of love, peace, wholeness, and connection. I give thanks to everyone who has joined us in attendance today, and for everyone who has worked so hard to make our service possible. May the energy of love that is generated here today bless everyone abundantly. And so it is. And now, while we're in this space of blessing, it's our time for share requests and celebrations. If you're in the Zoom room, you can put your request in our chat, or you can speak it out loud. And if you're watching us on Facebook Live, you can also type in your request in the comments. So please share your prayers and celebrations. And I'm going to monitor the chat room. And if somebody else wants to monitor Facebook Live, we'll take your prayer requests. And if anyone just wants to speak it out, if you're with Zoom.
I want to say something.
Mm-hmm.
My son is and his husband are adopting a baby. The baby was due to be born via C-section on the 7th of May, but it's been moved up.
Oh.
So today they are starting out to drive to Oklahoma, where the baby's going to be born. So this is an adventure. Of course, they can't fly because of the coronavirus. And I'm sure there's going to run into a lot of other interesting challenges along the way. So please, good thoughts and blessings to them.
Can you give me some names, please?
My grandson doesn't have a name yet.
Okay.
But my son's name is Nathan.
Uh-huh.
Nathan and Alex are on a journey.
How exciting. They sure are.
Yeah. Right.
Oh, that's wonderful. I love we're getting a request for our first responders. And I'm always going to throw in medical personnel. Everyone I'm going to include who's doing so much to keep us all going. All right. All right. So now let us just close our eyes, breathe in deep. Isn't it a joy to know that God is here? No matter where you are at any given moment, God is there. God is there with you in your home. God is with everyone in our country. God is with everyone around the world. There's no place that God is not. That divine spirit is always present, all knowing, all loving, complete goodness. And since that God is everywhere in all things, I know that God is within me. God is within you. There is nothing but peace, goodness, love, abundance, because that is what God is. We're all connected. We're all just divine expressions of God. And that is just a wonderful, wonderful feeling. Since God is everywhere and in all things and in everyone, we know that God is traveling along with Nathan and Alex as they go to pick up their new little one who will join their family. We know that love is with them. Love is guiding them. Love will be with them in the days, the months, the years ahead as they raise this precious, precious little boy. We know that God is with Karen and her son Christopher and their family. We also celebrate James's full recovery. Isn't it wonderful to know that our bodies are perfectly designed? We are wholly complete and complete. We have everything inside of us to keep us well, to keep us moving, to keep us singing and rejoicing. We also have a fantastic support team. We give thanks to the wonderful first responders, to the medical personnel, to the truckers, to the grocery store folks who are stocking the shelves, ringing up our purchases, to all the people across the world who are selling masks, to people who ring bells and shout and play music at 7 o'clock because they know that medical personnel are changing shifts. We're seeing a time that is challenging and difficult, but we're also seeing a time when people around the world are coming together, supporting one another, loving each other. We've never felt the connection so strongly as we do now. And with that thought, it just fills my heart with gratitude. Thank you, God. Thank you, Divine Spirit. Thank you, world, for giving us a reason to stop, think about our blessings, and think about how we are sacredly connected. So any worries, any cares, we release them, knowing that all is good, all is God, and so it is. And now, in case you didn't get enough, I believe that Patty and Brent are going to sing for us once again.
We're going to start this off with I Am Willing by Kit Holmes. I am willing to open my heart. I am willing to be the change I wish to see. And I know that it's all love. I am willing to listen to that still small voice in me. I am willing to open my mind. I am willing to be the change I wish to see. And I know it's all good. I am willing to listen to that still small voice in me. I am willing to open my life. I am willing to be the change I wish to see. And I know I can trust. I am willing to listen to that still small voice in me. I am willing to listen to that still small voice in me.
That was fantastic. That was wonderful. And now we're going to have our wonderful practitioner, Charlene Banks, give our talk for today with the title Fire in the Belly. Take it, Charlene.
All right. It is very nice to be able to present to you today. I'm going to stop sharing so that you could see, the people online can actually see me. And so good morning. And Patty and Brent, thank you so much. That was the most centering that I think I've had right before I talk. So that is amazing. And Tamara, you did such a wonderful job opening, because the words that you used about us being connected and there is no separation, that, of course, is the topic of every talk that Reverend Sunday or I give. But this time it's just so pertinent because of our situation in the world today. And although the outline for this talk was written well before anybody knew that this was going to be happening, and in fact, many of the books that I'm studying in my ministerial classes, this one was written in 1990, and it is so pertinent to what's going on right now. And a lot of the things I want to say to you are coming from both of these sources, and it's just, it just touches my heart how perennial the things, the truth, the what I want to call the human condition, the truth about where we are and what's real, that is just everlasting. So fire in the belly, huh? What is that about, you might ask? Well, if you don't know, Ramadan started April 24th. And as we know, it's the Islamic tradition, one of the 5 pillars of Islam. I'll talk to you a little more about the details of the pillar of Islam that Ramadan supports. But the term fire in the belly is inspired by the Ramadan fasting that they go through, and the fact that they remove themselves from food, water, sex, and other things like gossiping, lying. Why, though? Why would a religious tradition, sacred tradition, remove these things over a ritualized period of time? Well, it's consistent with what we teach here at Science of Mind, where we need to remain aware of our purpose. Why are we here? What are we on this planet to do? And when we lose track of it, we get caught up in what things look like or chasing the next shiny object. We could lose track of why we're really here. And so part of the Ramadan tradition is to rededicate their lives to spirit and recommitment to their truth and their purpose on why they're here. And Tamara, you spoke it very nicely when you said, hey, maybe this is a gift by the universe to, kind of stop all that. Stop all of the busyness and the chasing of the shiny object and go within. Now, maybe this is very, very literal term, go within, like stay within your house, kind of go within. But it's still, it's very, I want to say iconic that a lot of times we're seeking what we want outside of our house, if you want to say house as, outside of our being, when all we have, all we need, all that we've ever needed is right within us. Now, how do we know that all we ever needed is right within us? It sounds kind of lofty, and people always bandy about the terminology that we are made of the divine. And how many of you, when you first came to this teaching, or maybe you're still thinking, yeah, are we though? Is that just what y'all say? I mean, I'm looking kind of different from her and him and her, and it seems like I'm separate. How can you tell me I am made from the divine? Or how about this sentence? We can never be disconnected from the divine. How is that really, really true? And so I bring to you this study. Every time I take a class that I'm interested in, you guys can expect to be taught the thing, because that's how I learn. I teach. So I'm reading this book, and there's a bunch of words, and the words are very good words, talking about how hierarchically, the word hierarchy is really a thing inside of another thing inside of another thing. And the example they used was molecules inside cells. Cells are inside organs. Organs are inside organisms. Organisms are us. And then we're inside of a society. And those types of, they talk about these hierarchies, how the innermost thing feeds the thing going up, and it's also fed by the things coming down. But I'm like, all right, I'm going to need a picture. Because then the guy starts talking about 7 layers of spiritual reality, of reality itself, going from the physical all the way up to God. And just like the cells, one inside of another thing, making a bigger thing, that our physical bodies are inside God. But these were all words. So I said, all right, I know PowerPoint. I'm going to take a moment. And so I'm going to share with you the picture that I drew for me, and I'm going to actually post it to my class and see if they like it. It doesn't matter if they like it. This is how Charlene thinks, and we're all going to play in Charlene's world, right? All right, so here, let me share my screen. PowerPoint, I think I'm sharing. Okay, so here's what I came up with. So if you could see this picture, what you see is the words that I read in this book said that everything that is real, that is everything that exists, comes from the ultimate ground of being. Now, we would all know that that is consciousness or spirit or divine, whatever you call it. You could call it God. That's the big orange thing on the outside. And then it moves through these different layers to create what's all the way down in the bottom. But remember, everything's inside everything else. So look how the physical is the physical bodies that we share, that you and I, breathe and move. There's a bunch of us physical bodies. Each physical body is surrounded by a bioetheric body. And that body is encompassed by your astral body, which is a little bigger, which is a little more, it's more complex in consciousness. Then there's your mental body, which is all the things you think about, all of the your mental environment that you create for yourself. Then there's your causal body, celestial, and that all comes from God. So if you think about this, and I know this is not the class. I'm going to do a mini class on this because it's like blowing my mind, people. This is what we mean by God. Wait, we said we're made of the divine. We're always connected to the divine. Dude, there's the picture. You can't argue with the picture. The other thing I wanted to mention really quick, those of you who work on, I know we do treatments. We treat others. We're not treating their physical. We're treating, go up one, their bioetheric level. And we'll talk about more, I'll go into this in some other time when we could talk more deeply, but I am astounded by this. And the reason why sometimes we can help people heal their physical body is because we're working on them in that bioetheric realm. But if their mental realm is in conflict, sometimes it will then push down a different thought. So this is, I think, pretty amazing. I'm going to stop sharing now and go back to 1 second. All right. So now that everybody online can see me. So you guys, I mean, are you as mind smacked, gobsmacked? Yeah, mind blown. So I love the visual. The words in the book were great, but if you don't show me a picture, I'm going to miss it. And every time I read more words, I go back to this picture. And if you guys want me to send it to you, I can do that. Because what happens is I can forget sometimes that there's something bigger than just my little physical self. I can forget sometimes that my mental atmosphere is creating my physical expression. And that much like if I look outside and I see right now there are clouds, that doesn't mean that there is no sun. It means that there's something blocking it. And so when our lower levels are not receiving that direct impulse directly, if we're not feeling like we're connected, I don't feel like I'm part of everything. Well, that could be because it's kind of cloudy in our area. In fact, maybe we need to push the clouds away so we can get that downward causation. We can open up a realm to allow it to whoosh, come into us because it's always there. Because it's always there. We cannot move outside of God. It's impossible. So that is the inspiring topic of today. So let's talk about how do we clear the clouds from the, I'm just imagining myself as the little orb at the bottom, the little blue orb that's feeling alone and doesn't realize that it's connected to all. And imagine, what if I had that fire in the belly? What if I had that fire? In fact, Ernest Holmes talks about when he says we treat with feeling. We treat with that fire. We treat with that conviction. Because when we know it to be true, that is what actually clears those clouds away. That is what pushes through what are not real boundaries. Those clouds are just, they're pushable. And they're gone. But you need to do that. In fact, Nam Shakti teaches some breathing techniques if you ever come to the Thursday morning. And one of them is breath of fire. And I'm thinking that cannot be an accident. And one day she'll have her talk where she tells us exactly where that fits in here and what level of those orbs are we pushing. And I'm pretty sure that when we're breathing that breath of fire, we are clearing the way so we can get directly to our divine source. Because it's never left us. It's just sometimes it's a little bit late, a little layer, marine layer over it. So to talk about this topic today, you are right where you're supposed to be in this moment. And that's good to know. All the experiences that led up to you being right here, right now, today, listening, either you're listening or watching, everything worked to get you right here where you are today. And the circumstances that we created for ourselves are powerful, and they were created by our thought. And we know this because we've learned from Ernest Holmes that trained thoughts are much more creative than untrained thoughts. And so we train our minds on what it is we would like to experience. We plant seeds in our garden that represent the potential for what we want to experience. I want roses, I'll go find some rose bush seeds and I'll plant those. In the seed is the potential for the actual thing itself. And so with my thoughts, I'm planting them. I'm carefully focusing, training my thought on what it is I want. And then I start to move through my life, and that becomes my circumstances. So a lot of times, though, we go out into the world and we're looking for maybe not so much inspiration, but we seek evidence, right? Prove to me I'm okay. Am I okay? I'm not okay unless you tell me I'm okay. I put that post up. How many likes did it get? And if it doesn't get a lot of likes, then I'm not okay. So a lot of times we're using external measuring sticks to tell us who we are. And so we seek things for our insides that come from the outsides, but we know that that doesn't really work. The outside is merely waiting for us to impress upon it what it is we would like. And it's kind of like a standoff. No, you go first. You tell me what you want. Well, I'll give you what you want if you just ask. Well, you give me something and then I'll know no, it's like this. So we know now that we sit within our center. Meditation, breathing techniques, whatever it is to bring you within, so that we can remember that we are one, that there is no separation, that we are swimming around, moving and having our being in this ultimate ground called the divine. But now let's talk about purpose, because people who, you and I, we've been through this, right? Running around, what's my purpose? Is that my purpose? Or me when I was younger, oh no, I hope my purpose isn't something that's like dreadful, because then, ugh. And I was afraid. I remember when I was in Catholic school, I was in about 5th grade, and the nuns kind of said, well, you'll know if you're called to be a nun, you'll know the calling. And then they said it in such a way that you should be called. I don't know. And I kind of took that like, oh God, I hope that I'm hiding, like, don't pick me. And then I realized later, way later, 20s and 30s, that God would never have me do something that makes me want to hide from it. It would never be dreadful. It would never be something that felt like homework. Well, even giving a talk feels like homework. But at the end, it's so exciting after having done it, But it'll be something that puts fire in your belly. Your purpose, my purpose, when we're present in our lives and when we're aware of what excites us, that thing right there that excites us is our purpose. In fact, if you are simply present in your life right now, if you just take a minute and go within and just, now you're on your purpose. Just being present means you're on purpose. Whether that's, and that could extend, that could extend when you're in your purpose, when you're on your purpose, and then you get some insight that seems exciting. Follow that. What are you here to do? In fact, you know that you're here to do good because you're here. So that's already enough to know that you're good enough, you're smart enough, you're strong enough, and you're here to make the world a better place because you're here right now. And then from that point forward, meditation, going within, just being present in every moment puts you on purpose. So let's look again a little bit at Ramadan and the illustration of fire in the belly. So often what calls us to rise up and do good is a calling to right a wrong or fill a void or some role that is noticeable. You notice that it's absent, and it's taking a moment. The bell, every time the bell rings, you got to go within. So if we are in our lives looking around, if you see a wrong that needs to be righted, if there is this empty space that needs to be filled and you notice it and you are called forth, not from a judgment point of view, but from a, I know how to do that. That recognition creates that fire in the belly. A great desire, so this defined as a great desire to remedy, to contribute, or to be part of the good of a solution or a situation around us. Whether that's making masks. My mom was a great example of that. She noticed people needed masks. She's like, I have a sewing machine. I'm retired. And she starts sewing masks. And just sending out tens of, I was like, hey, Mom, before you run out of speed, could I get a couple masks? Because that's hers to do. That's awesome. Now, if not that, then what? There are so many opportunities to give right now. There's so many ways in which we can put our talents out there to make the world a better place. So even though this week marks the beginning of the Ramadan for those of Islamic faith, we can still take some lessons and parallels from them. What this means for Islamic faith, they'll be fasting from sunrise to sundown every day. The fasting is known as Psalm, and it's one of the 5 pillars of Islam. This time of fasting extends beyond food to include water, cigarettes, sex, gambling, gossip, judgment, and other things like that. They believe that the absence of these activities creates a purification in the body, a fire in the belly, where one can truly see what needs to be seen around them, unencumbered by the distractions of food, water, etc. The commitment to faith through extended spiritual practice during this time, coupled with the purification of the body and mind through fasting, provides the clarity for a person to see what is mine to do. And I feel as if that's a pretty good tradition to have, to remove oneself from all of the hubbub, all of the things that one can do to remain distracted from their full potential. To do that on a periodic basis, that's just brilliant. And for us, what can we learn? What can we gain from this? Well, the question, what's mine to do, is a very good question to ask. And since we have this time of, unprecedented, they love to use the word unprecedented, and it's true, time of, isolation, so to speak. Well, let's call it a retreat. Let's call this, an unscheduled retreat. And your home is the spa. Meditation and yoga, whatever it is that makes you feel more connected to your true self, is what's, on the menu here today and for many days ahead. And that's not a terrible thing. In fact, one of my favorite astrophysicists said, we could keep trying to find out about black holes and stuff that's out there, but wouldn't it be more interesting if we took that journey within? And because there's so much that we haven't discovered yet within our own selves. And so what's mine to do? Well, it can come like a wave in our lives. When we choose to sit still and just be, we'll get flashes. We'll get energetic impulses that will help us know what that is. And if we ask our higher selves, tell me what's up. What should I be doing? And look for the answers to come, whether they're in dreams, either daydreams or actually at night in your dreams, and just keep a pencil by your nightstand and jot down what impulses come to you. Because I feel as if the higher levels that we are nested within would love to get more information to us to help us live better lives, if only we would just stop and listen. And so this unscheduled retreat is just the perfect time to do so. Each of us has a divine purpose, and this can stay constant in our lives over many years. If you're dedicated to a given cause, it can stay constant, and what it looks like may change, but the given cause itself could be your consistent purpose throughout every decade in your life. Or you may at this moment feel pulled to go into community, well, to a limited degree, however you can, and do even greater good. Is it pick up the phone and do the solicitations of, trying to get people to vote? I know some of us in this community are doing that. Just saying, hey, like my mom said, hey, I'm retired. I got a phone. I'm going to start calling people and get with a group of people who are going to do that. Or, hey, I've got a sewing machine. I'm going to sew some masks. Hey, I've got whatever it is you've got. I'm going to contribute. And when I notice that there's a need, instead of just disparaging the people who are presenting the need, like maybe it's the us versus them in the political realm, instead of just saying, wouldn't it be better if they just, we can also look for a way to help, to fill the void. Whatever we see missing, find out a way to help fill the void. Because we want to encourage that fire in the belly stirs us to get us up and get us started doing that thing that is ours to do. So what stirs your belly? It's a good question. So as a conclusion, and in terms of the talk, a call to action. As you move out of this Zoom meeting, out of this, whether you're watching this recording, as you move beyond this time right now and head out, heading in to the week coming, notice what stirs you. Notice what puts that fire in your belly. Where do you see a need? Where is there an absence that calls you forth to do something? Where is it? Is it calling you forth to love? Is it calling you forth to give? Or just to be present to the fulfillment of what's mine to do? And as a final quote from Sonia Choquette in Soul Lessons and Soul Purpose, you must not define yourself by experiences or conditions. For while these are tools you can use, they are not who you are. You are spirit, a fiery, heavenly intelligence created by God and unlimited in nature. So let's take that within for a prayer. Now, I know that there's only one. And I know beyond a doubt that I am part of this whole. And that to the degree that I can become aware of my oneness, of my nature, my true nature, to that degree I can help the world become a better place. And so I speak my word for each and every one of us within the sound of my voice, that we too, we all are becoming more and more aware of our oneness with the divine, of our inherent nature, and that we feel encompassed by the divine, as that is the actual case. And I speak my word for each and every one of us here, that any sense of urgency is removed. Any sense of panic or fear is simply false and dissolves in the light of the truth. For God is calm, God is peace and love. God is what connects each and every one of us. Even if we can't feel it, we know it to be true. And God is wholeness and healing and awareness, and it's just all of the goodness that we know, and that it's all of the archetypes, the embodiments of things that we do want in our lives. That is already our true nature. And so we simply turn toward that we want to experience. We bless everyone in this space. And we know that what's coming forth is wonderful, because we have planted those seeds. We've planted thoughts of goodness. We've planted images of world peace and healing and support. And so we know that that will come about, because it is the law. Yes, this globe is going through something, and that something is amazing. And that this something is bringing us all together, and it's waking us up, and it's opening our minds, our eyes, our hearts, our spirit to something even greater yet to be. And we usher this in. We, being the leaders of light, we usher this in, knowing that it is only good that is happening right here and right now. And so I simply rest in that knowingness. I allow it to be. I say, thank you, Father, Mother, God. I release it into the law, knowing it is no choice but to go ahead and just be. And so I simply say, and so it is.
Thank you, Charlene. Once again, oh my goodness, so much. And I saw in the chat room, and I'm going to share what I added too. Thank you so much for that image, that wonderful visual that you gave us. Now we're we're going to enjoy some music from Patty and Brent. So enjoy.
Lately I've been noticing how much I've been blessed with the people to love, some peace of mind and happiness. It makes me want to pass along this love I've received as a way of giving thanks for what's been given to me. I've got a strong heart. I've got a strong love. And I'm ready to use the gifts I've been given to make this world a better place to live in. I'm ready to use the gifts I've been given to make this world a better place to live in. I used to have a lust for more that bordered on greed. I looked around and saw that I had more than I need. I thought I had to have it all before I could share, till I realized what's mine to give has always been there. I've got a strong heart. I've got a strong love. And I'm ready to use the gifts I've been given to make this world a better place to live in. Ready to use the gifts I've been given to make this world a better place to live in. I may not make a difference that the whole world can see, but I can show more kindness, that's what matters to me. I'm changing on the outside, finding gray in my hair. The difference on the inside is that I don't care. I'm losing my desire to be what I'm not, and I've got what I want now that I want what I've got. I've got a strong heart. I've got a strong love. And I'm ready to use the gifts I've been given to make this world a better place to live in. Ready to use the gifts I've been given to make this world a better place to live in.
All right, that was wonderful. Oh my goodness, I love how this is all coming together from our opening sacred space, our music, and Charlene's wonderful, wonderful presentation. And next, I'm thinking that Charlene will share and we'll get some information about offering. During this time, I know that we've all been giving to organizations that are supporting so many people that need our help and assistance at this time, whether through donations of money or donations of food, or maybe you're donating masks. And we also have our wonderful CSL community, and we tithe and we give back to our community around our area. So join with me as you follow along on the screen. Here we go. The presence of Spirit with me blesses everyone I meet, tends to heal everything I touch, brings gladness into the life of everyone I contact by practicing social distancing. Therefore, I am a blessing to myself, to humankind, and to the day in which I live. And there's a number at the bottom. You can text your donations to 940-9620. And we greatly appreciate that. Next, we want to give you a little reminder if you can possibly join us for our weekly meditations. You can join Charlene at 9 a.m. on Tuesdays and Shakti at 9 a.m. on Thursdays. We've been getting a lot of positive feedback. People are saying this is just a great way to start your day and de-stress and set your intentions and maybe even focus on what is mine to do that day. And they'll help you with that. Now it's our time for pearls. Wow, this is a time where you share with the community. What did you hear today during our service? Was it the music? Was it something that Charlene said that you just say is really sacred and precious like a pearl, and you want to carry it with you through the week? And since I have the mic on, I'm going to jump right in, and there's no one to stop me. So Patty and Brent, I made a note in your first song. I am willing to be the change I wish to see. And I love what I just mentioned, that the synchronicity that we have going on with our service today, from the very get-go to your very first song, your last song, and then Charlene's talk. I didn't know what fire in the belly was going to bring me, but thank you for the explanation of how this ties in with Ramadan and what is mine to do, a good time to go within and take that and think about our purpose in life. Now I'll stop, and please turn on your mic if you have a pearl, and I'll monitor the chat room too. All right, since you guys are all silent this morning, Charlene, you really did light a fire in my belly, because I was taking notes about that wonderful visual that you created. And I'm going to throw this out. So I was looking at physical as our body, and bioetheric, am I saying that correctly, is like our aura. And then there's the astral as our emotions, and the mental are our thoughts. And then we get to the causal. And I started thinking, like, there's me. Right there, I caused the thing that happened in my life. But then, Charlene, you're going to love this. I took the what is mine to do. And when I am really, really connected with the power that is within me, I can move up to the celestial zone. Aren't there times in your life where you realize, like, you gave or you helped someone and you really were an angel? You were a spiritual being for that person. And then if I keep even going, if I keep that fire burning at full blast in my belly, aren't there times when I can actually even hit that, like, I am God level? And I'm going beyond just when I hand my treat to my dog, because, like, let's face it, I'm the food god to my dog. But there are times in my life, it's not every single moment, it's not every single day. I see you laughing at me, Charlene. Do you feel that? Do you feel that fire? Do you feel that fire that you ignited? So, holy cow, this was Pearl extraordinaire for me today. And something even is speaking in my ears, saying that I'm speaking for all those who had that same fire ignited, but they weren't quite sure how to put it into words. How's that sound? I'm getting a big thumbs up from Charlene. So with that,
I think Nam Shakti might have wanted to
end our presentation for today, but I'm hoping that we have one more slide. Oh, I didn't see that.
Thank you. So yeah, that fire is called Agni in yoga, which is the fire that burns, and that's our self-esteem, our life purpose comes from that Agni, from the fire that's burning in our belly. And that was so wonderful to see that everything that you're doing, Charlene, is just really the way you're coming through is really showing, like, this path that I've taken in yoga and all that I studied. It's really aligning together and knowing that there is this one mind that's coming through all of us somewhere informed. I loved everything today that you talked about. So I just want to thank you. You're such a blessing for us and such a gift that you bring to us. And I love you.
Thank you, Nam Shakti. It's funny you say that because I read this stuff and I think of you. I'm like, this is what she's talking about. This right here is Nam Shakti. So you're reminding me of this, and I'm reminding you of you. It's really awesome. It's just that feedback loop of love, y'all.
It all comes together. All right. As we end today, I just have to. Are we going to hear one more song? Yes, we're going to hear one more song before we officially end. And don't we need that? So here's Patty and Brent.
This is a song written by Jamie Lula. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the love that we see. We are the seeds we are sowing. We are the harvest we reap. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the love that we see. We are the seeds we are sowing. We are the harvest we reap. Oh, I am that I am. 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 We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the love that we see. We are the seeds we are sowing. We are the harvest we reap. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the love that we see. We are the seeds we are sowing. We are the harvest we reap.
Oh, that was phenomenal. I'm applauding. I'm applauding. Once again, the words just spot on. Oh, thank you so much, Patty and Brent. Thank you, Charlene. Thank you, everyone who made this service possible just by joining us and being one with us today. So now I'm going to ask you to say with me something that we typically use at the end of our service. It's I am love, you are love, it's all love. And I'm going to walk you through it. And if you want to turn on your mics and join me, we can even try this. Let's see how that goes. Put your hand over your heart. I am love. Look at somebody on the screen in front of you. Let's all connect. You are love. Now put your hands way up high. It's all love. Woo, woo, woo. Thank you so much for joining. Have a wonderful week. If you want to hang out with